Unit 7, Registration. Some students are registering for evening courses at the Adult Education Center. Listen to the conversations.
Good evening. I'd like to register for a course.
All right, then. Take this form, fill it out.
I'm sorry. Could you speak a little slower, please?
Oh, sure. Fill out this form and bring it back to me. Would you like to register too?
He doesn't speak much English.
Could you help him?
Sure.
Excuse me, I don't understand this. Date of birth.
When were you born? When's your birthday?
June 30th,
What year?
19... And one more thing. What does spouse mean?
Spouse means husband or wife.
Oh, I see.
Excuse me, my pen's out of ink. Could I use your pencil?
Oh, sure.
What's today's date?
It's the 13th, September 13th.
Do you speak Spanish?
A little.
How do you say abogado in English?
Lawyer. L-A-W-Y-E-R. Are you Spanish?
No, I'm Mexican.
Now listen to the conversations again and repeat each line.
Good evening. I'd like to register for a course.
All right, then. Take this form, fill it out.
I'm sorry. Could you speak a little slower, please?
Oh, sure. Fill out this form and bring it back to me. Would you like to register too?
He doesn't speak much English.
Could you help him?
Sure.
Excuse me, I don't understand this. Date of birth.
When were you born? When's your birthday?
June 30th.
What year?
19... And one more thing. What does spouse mean?
Spouse means husband or wife.
Oh, I see.
Excuse me, my pen's out of ink. Could I use your pencil?
Oh, sure.
What's today's date?
It's the 13th, September 13th.
Do you speak Spanish?
A little.
How do you say abogado in English?
Lawyer. L-A-W-Y-E-R. Are you Spanish?
No, I'm Mexican.
Hello folks, how are you doing? Well, it's good to see you again for a new lesson and a new topic to present. Today is August 8, 2017. The new topic of our lesson today is about registration. Oh, well, you know, registration means recording names and details on an official list, right? That is registration. And we want to talk about some places, some centers called adult education centers. People who are grown up go to these places to learn different things, whether new languages or some new professions, skills, and things like that. You've already listened to the conversations for the first time. Now, before listening to it for the second time, let us go over it and see if there are new words and expressions to talk about. Alright, so in part A, on the second line, the registration worker says, take this form, fill it out. Fill it out means complete it. To fill out means to complete a form or things like that. Then in part A, I don't see any other new word. Of course, in the last part, someone, in fact Maria, says sure. Sure here means of course or certainly. In part B, well, there is no new word. Only in the last part, the Korean student says, oh, I see. I see means I understand. Here, see means understand. In part C, an American student says, excuse me, my pen's out of ink. Means the ink in my pen is finished. Yeah, nothing is left. It is used up. None is left. And in part D, there's a dialogue between a Mexican student and an American student. They talk about speaking Spanish and a word in Spanish and the meaning of that word, lawyer. Of course, a lawyer is someone who advises people about law or represents people in court. Well, that's about it. We don't have any other word. Of course, there are some words like a spouse explained. You know, we have the meaning of that in the conversation. So now we listen to the conversation one more time as a reinforcement, and then we repeat each line after the speakers, which is also very important.
Unit 7, Registration. Some students are registering for evening courses at the Adult Education Center. Listen to the conversations.
Good evening. I'd like to register for a course.
All right, then. Take this form, fill it out.
I'm sorry. Could you speak a little slower, please?
Oh, sure. Fill out this form and bring it back to me. Would you like to register too?
He doesn't speak much English.
Could you help him?
Sure.
Excuse me, I don't understand this. Date of birth,
When were you born? When's your birthday?
June 30th,
What year?
19... And one more thing, what does spouse mean?
Spouse means husband or wife.
Oh, I see.
Excuse me, my pen's out of ink. Could I use your pencil?
Oh, sure.
What's today's date?
It's the 13th, September 13th.
Do you speak Spanish?
A little.
How do you say abogado in English?
Lawyer. Lawyer. Are you Spanish?
No, I'm Mexican.
Now listen to the conversations again and repeat each line.
Good evening. I'd like to register for a course.
All right, then. Take this form, fill it out.
I'm sorry. Could you speak a little slower, please?
Oh, sure. Fill out this form and bring it back to me. Would you like to register too?
He doesn't speak much English.
Could you help him?
Sure.
Excuse me, I don't understand this. Date of birth.
When were you born? When's your birthday?
June 30th.
What year?
19... And one more thing. What does spouse mean?
Spouse means husband or wife.
Oh, I see.
Excuse me, my pen's out of ink. Could I use your pencil?
Oh, sure.
What's today's date?
It's the 13th. September 13th.
Do you speak Spanish?
A little.
How do you say abogado in English?
Lawyer. L-A-W-Y-E-R. Are you Spanish?
No, I'm Mexican.
Okay, now it's time to think about the exercises. After these conversations. We have figured it out exercise. You're all familiar with this exercise. Choose A or B here. And number 2, we have matching task. We have to match two parts. Part the one on the left side to the one on the right side. Okay, think about it for a while. I'll be back and we'll check them together. Okay, so let's begin. Figure it out. Part 1, choose A or B. The first question, when's your birthday? There are two answers. Part A, 1983. Part B, June 30th. Here, B is correct, but I want to ask you, why should we choose B? What's wrong with A? Do you have any opinion? Yeah, the point is, when we talk about birthday, we talk about the day and the month. Year may not be so important. We want to know exactly on which day and in which month the person was born. Right? Number 2. Could I use your pen? Two answers. It's out of ink. Yes, I could. What do you think? Sure, it's out of ink is correct because yes, I could is meaningless here because the person says, could I use your pen? So in fact, part B should have been, yes, you could, not I could. It's meaningless. So A is correct. Number 3, do you speak Spanish? 2 answers. Yes, a little, or no, I'm Mexican. What do you think? A is correct. Yes, a little. Right. Number 4. What does date of birth mean? 2 answers. Where you were born, when you were born. Surely B is correct because it's about date of birth, not place of birth. For place of birth, we say where you were born. But for date of birth, when you were born. So B is correct. Number 5. How do you say abogado in English? Of course, in part D, we had the answer, lawyer, right? But the point is whether we should choose A or B, which is the spelling of the word. In fact, we were not asked to spell the word. We were asked to say the word, and that's why A is correct. Number 6. When's your date of birth? There are 2 answers. June 30th, June 30, 1983. Which one do you think is correct? Of course, B is correct because its date of birth should be complete. Yeah, it requires complete information. June 30th is not enough. So B is correct. Exercise 2, match. Number 1, occupation, lawyer, is matched for us. Number 2, address. What is the correct answer, you think? Part E, 221 Pomona Avenue. Yeah, this is the address. Number 3, year. What is the answer? Which part? Part B, 1983. Number 4, place of birth. Part A, Denver, Colorado. Number 5, nationality. Korean. Part F. Number 6, sex. Part C, female. Right? F stands for female. Number 7, marital status. Part H, single. Number 8, date. Part D, December 12, 2014. Okay, now let's get ready to see what our comprehension dialogue has for us. Okay guys, now we can see John Pierce, who's a tenant, and he rented an apartment from Mrs. Baxter. Mrs. Baxter is the landlady. Yeah, she owns the apartment. Well, he is relaxing in his apartment, but he is interrupted. His relaxation cannot apparently continue for a long time. Let's see what happens.
Take my advice. John Pierce is watching TV one evening after taking a shower when Mrs. Baxter knocks at his door. 1. Comprehension dialogue. Listen to the conversation.
You got the key. What a way to spend.
Who is it?
It's Mrs. Baxter.
Mrs. Baxter? Mrs. Baxter, how are you this evening?
Good evening, Mr. Pierce. I'm sorry to bother you.
That's okay. I was just watching television. Come in. Sit down. Would you like some tea or coffee?
Oh, no. Please don't bother. I only have a few minutes. Mr. Pierce, it's the 4th of December.
The 4th of...
Oh, Mrs. Baxter, the rent. I'm sorry it's late. I'll write you a check right now. Do you have a pen I could use?
Yes, I do. Here you are. Is that your girlfriend?
My girlfriend? Oh, you mean in the picture? No, that's my sister.
She's very pretty. Is she married?
Yes, married with 2 children, a boy and a girl.
Oh, how wonderful.
Do you have any children, Mrs. Baxter?
Mr. Pierce, I have 6 grandchildren.
Oh, really? Here you are, Mrs. Baxter.
Thank you. By the way, are you still a reporter at the Brooklyn Record?
No, I'm working at the Brooklyn Heights Press now.
Do you have a girlfriend?
No, not really.
What? A handsome man like you with a good job? Take my advice. Find yourself a girlfriend, get married, and have children.
Oh, there's the phone. Excuse me for just one moment, Mrs. Baxter.
All right. It's time now to answer the figure it out exercise. Number 1, John's rent check is late. It says right. How do we know it is right? In part 1, when John says the 4th of Mrs. Baxter, the rent, I'm sorry, it's late. Yeah, all right. Number 2, John has a girlfriend. What do you think? Yeah, it is wrong, of course, because Mrs. Baxter says in part 2, do you have a girlfriend? John says, no, not really. Number 3, John's sister is married. So, what do you say? It is right. Yeah? In part 2, Mrs. Baxter says she's very pretty. Is she married? And John says, yes, married with 2 children. Number 4, Mrs. Baxter has 3 children. The point is that we don't know how many. Yeah, we know that she has even grandchildren, but we don't know how many children. Number 5, John is an accountant. What do you think? Yeah, of course it is wrong, because John is a reporter. In the second part of the conversation, we see it. Mrs. Baxter says, by the way, are you still a reporter at Brooklyn Record? Yeah, so he's a reporter. He changed his workplace, but his job is the same job as a reporter. Number 6, Mrs. Baxter asks a lot of questions. Normally, it is right, because she really asks a lot of questions. All right.
Page 55. 3. Listen in. John forgets he's supposed to meet his friend Gloria. Read the statements below. Then listen to the conversation and fill in the missing words.
Hello?
Hello, John. This is Gloria. Where are you?
I'm at home. What do you mean?
John, it's Friday night, December 4th.
Oh, no, your birthday. Is everyone at the restaurant?
Yes. We're at the House of China at 352 11th Avenue near 23rd Street.
Hey, slow down.
352 11th Avenue near 23rd Street.
I'll be right there. And, happy birthday, Gloria.
Now fill in the missing words.
Right, now let's fill in the missing words. Number 1, the House of China is at 352 what avenue? Can you say that? 11th Avenue. That's right. Number 2, Gloria's birthday is when? When is it? December 4th. All right.
4. Say it right. Say the phrase below, then practice the conversation. First, listen to and repeat this phrase. Could you? Now listen to the conversation.
Your name, please?
Gloria Schaefer.
Could you speak a little slower, please?
Gloria Schaefer.
Could you spell your last name, please?
S-C-H-A-E-F-E-R.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
S-C-H-A-E-F-E-R.
Now listen to the conversation again and repeat each line.
Your name, please?
Gloria Schaefer.
Could you speak a little slower, please?
Gloria Schaefer.
Could you spell your last name, please?
S-C-H-A-E-F-E-R.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
S-C-H-A-E-F-E-R.
Okay, it's now time for your turn exercise. We have to fill in the blanks and complete the conversation. It says, Victoria Diego is interviewed on television. Act out the conversation. Use this information. Victoria Diego is single. She was born in Mexico. The Spanish word encantado means it's nice to meet you. She lives in California now. She speaks Spanish. So this is the piece of information we need to complete this conversation. Alright? So let's think about it and then we'll do it together. Okay, now let's see. The interviewer says, now we are going to meet Victoria Diego. Let's see. Is that Miss or Mrs. Diego? Victoria says, Miss Diego. Interviewer says, Victoria Diego. That's a Spanish name. Where are you from? This is what we write in the blank. Victoria says, well, I was born in Mexico, but I live in California now. The interviewer says, do you speak Spanish? Victoria says, yes, I do. The interviewer says, how do you say it's nice to meet you in Spanish? Victoria says, encantado. Interviewer says, encantado, Miss Diego, it's nice to meet you. Victoria says, it's nice to meet you too. Right? So this is how we complete this conversation, by using our imagination and the information that we have had until now. Okay, so that's it for today. So I wish you a very nice time until the next time we meet with our new lesson. Have a wonderful time. Until next time. Bye.